How's everybody doing this morning? Let's light up the chat and say good morning. Awesome. So we just finished with VIP. It was really fun. You guys, wasn't it fun? Shauna, Tommy, to go over like what are the things you need to focus on as far as building your business first and prioritizing. That's what we just finished doing, which is really fun. I've got a handful of people, like a lot of people that won some cash. I got a lot of people who've won some cash. So we're giving out basically car payments right now. And so we're going to give a bunch of cash out to 6 different people right now. And I'm very, very excited to share this list of people. And I want to just take a quick note. You guys in VIP, I can pull you guys up really easily because obviously I can't get into YouTube or the Facebook group. But I wanted to just ask you guys who did the homework. Who did the homework and had a great result with it? Who did the homework and had a good result with it? Who's excited? Just raise your hand in VIP so I can see you. Who did the homework and had a good result? Marilyn, I'll pull you right back up. Where'd you go? Where did you go? Can someone pull Marilyn up? I just saw her hand flashing around. I lost you. Marilyn, oh, there you are. Oh, gosh, you guys are moving so fast. VIP must be like moving this morning. Okay, wave again. Everybody wave again that actually crushed it on the homework. Okay, let's go, Lex. Lex Reader.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you? Great to be on again. Okay, so last night I reached out to 10 clients, or not clients, people I didn't know in the industry on Instagram. That was one of your strategies, and just asking them to hop on a call today or tomorrow, 15-minute interview. And I wanted to vomit when I was doing it. It was so confronting for me, but I did it, and I booked a call this afternoon. We're doing an interview with somebody in the industry. She has 26,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm so excited. She's going to promote it as well, and it's going to be amazing. So
Like,
getting that authority.
like Lex, like, okay,
Yeah.
so in this whole week is about like sales, right? Like
Yes.
enrollment sales,
Yes.
the reason why
So,
I interchange them is because it's all leadership, right?
yes. So
Like,
I also did an offer as well for Zoom. Yeah, I reached my VIPs. I have a VIP list because of this challenge. So I reached out to them, and then I also reached out to my list. So I made an offer and it's going to come in.
so in this
Yeah.
challenge, you developed a VIP list?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah, and
Girl,
I made them pay for it. $67. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. You guys, look at this is the
Yeah.
power of just taking action. How much clarity have you gotten just because of you've been taking action?
A lot. Yeah. Like I keep thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this already. It's always been something I've wanted to do, like be more of a leader and do these interviews and things. So I'm like, I'm doing it today. What?
That is so
Yeah.
amazing. Well, congratulations,
Yeah.
Lex. Keep going.
Thank
Just notice
you.
that a little bit of effort, how far it goes. And everybody, thank
Yes.
you, Lex. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. You guys remember this. Like, um, I want you to take in, and I'm going to call somebody else up as well. I want you to take in that that was just a little bit of homework yesterday. And the day before, we saw people crushing it financially, right? When I focused the intention on money the day before yesterday, people who did it started creating cash, right? Now, yesterday, we focused on activity and building your leads and converting. Hopefully, if you have a door open to make an offer, then look at what starts to happen. Who else can jump up real quick? Just move your hand around. Just be like, I can jump up. Who else can jump up? Toonie, let's go.
All right. So I pinged it during the homework. I sent a proposal to a client, and then they went silent on me. And I followed up yesterday as part of the homework, and she messaged me last night. And this is for a proposal for $3,000 plus $400 a month of a not. I didn't call it maintenance, but a monthly maintenance. And she told me she liked the terms because she asked me to if I could be flexible on price. So I didn't want to go down on price. So what I did was offer for her to pay half up front and then half after the 2 weeks of me completing the work. So
Woo!
she's ready to move forward. She just had a couple questions, but they weren't objections. They were just details as far as, okay, what am I going to get?
That's so good. Okay, so you guys like hear this for a second. Okay, first of all, remember Ash teaching around pipeline days a couple days ago, right? That's that follow-up in the pipeline days, remember? So if you didn't watch that one, you need to go back to Monday of the challenge. Go back to Monday of the challenge, find it in the Facebook group, go back to Monday of the challenge. If you really can't find it, I'm sure if you asked for it in the group, there's always some great analytical people who have kept notes of everything, right? And so somebody will come to your service and support you, but don't stop at the resistance of not being able to find it. But Monday, Ash talked about pipeline, and that's exactly it. Like, you initially reached out, she went dark, and then just because you took the time to reconnect, that reconnection campaign, or whatever you want to call it, just being a great human being, it actually builds authority. And now she's come back online, she's ready to go. Now, you guys who are not on VIP, I think I talked about this on VIP only, when he said maintenance program. I hate the word maintenance, right? It's not sexy in direct response marketing. It's not hooking you in leadership. It's like, I'm dying, I'm not growing. You know what I mean? So you don't want to ever use the word maintenance. That's why he said I didn't use that word. In his head, he might have it wired as that. But on his ability to speak it out into the world, to speak that vision to this potential client who is now a client of his, he didn't use those words. He's using a future pacing, which, it's funny. In marketing, we call it future pacing. In leadership, we call it vision. Right? And so it's crazy when you connect success together. It really is, it's all leadership.
And one thing that made it really simple, Shanda, was the follow-up was really simple. It was, do you have any additional questions that I can answer about this? And that was it.
Yeah, so powerful. Awesome. Thank you, Tundi.
Thank you.
So much care for you. Awesome. One more person. Wave your hand if you did the homework last night. Wave your hand. I want to see some energy. If you're not energetic, I'm not bringing you up because, I'm going to tell you, your energy in front of the room makes a huge difference. Paul, let's go. You're unmuted, Paul.
Thank you so much for all of your empowerment. Two great things happened as a result of this 14-day challenge. Yesterday, I reconnected with people I have not spoken to in over 10 years, and I have 3 bookings coming up next week with corporate executives I have not worked with in over 10 years. Second thing, I reached out on Clubhouse to see who I could moderate and who I could have moderate my Get Unstuck Now Clubhouse room. And I got 4 people instantly saying yes, and there are people you need to speak to. Shanda, thank you again. And you asked about joint venture partners. I'd love to catch up with you. I've got 2 people in mind for you.
Love it. Can you send me a message on Instagram?
Yes, definitely. Again, thank you. And thank you to everybody in chat for encouraging each of us. Continued success to us all.
So good. Awesome. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so let's do this, you guys. So first and foremost, a little bit of effort, great gain. How often do we not allow ourselves to go all in? Because of the conversation of we're second guessing ourselves, we're trying to get it right, we're trying to get it perfect. You get what I'm saying? Or we're not clear. You get clarity through taking action, period. All right, so let's announce some of the winners, and our team will be reaching out to you. Keisha Bailey, you are a cash winner today for doing the homework. Erica, Naomi, all these people have reached out to at least 10 people yesterday. You guys think about this. Our team will be requested to reach out to 100 in a day or 60 in a day. 10 people, and listen to some of these results. Stephanie Piazza, Mandy Hansen, Yasina, oh no, Vasquez Rosa, Yasina Vasquez Rosa, Eleanor White. All of you people will be getting a message from our team, and you have won some cash today. So just FYI, they're going to reach out to you and let that cash multiply in your life and bless your life. I don't know if I shared this yesterday or not. You guys in VIP, I might have shared it with you, but yeah, I did share it. The guy who my friend was sharing with me, who was a mentor of his, 70 years old, who won a Lamborghini and a Rolex. I shared this yesterday. Did I share this just with you guys in VIP, or did I share it with everyone? Tell me if I shared it with everyone. Just VIP. Okay, you guys, if in the Facebook group, I just think this is powerful. 2 seconds. So this guy has 10,000 employees, owns a bunch of hamburger, I was going to say hamburger joints, Burger Kings, and the franchise owner gave him a Lamborghini and a Rolex. He's like, what am I going to do with this? It's not. He's faith based. He's not interested in that. And he took the Lambo and he took the Rolex and he sold it, and he multiplied the money. Right? He multiplied the money and he multiplied it enough so that he could give it to his 10,000 employees as a bonus. And I thought, that's some powerful leadership right there. Right? That's the type of person I want to hang out with. People who are not just looking for what am I going to get paid to speak or how much am I going to get paid for this product or program. I want it to be fair and get mine. I want to be with people who are so forward focused that when an opportunity comes, they're able to take it, multiply it, and grow it and bless the people in their lives. And that is so powerful. So I'm always encouraging people, like, it's great to get paid for what you do. There's so much power for that. And hopefully you're in an industry that you get huge fulfillment from. But it's another level of leadership when you actually, it's not even about you getting paid for what you do. It's about how can you use your skills to generate more for the people around you. That's a legacy people are going to remember. Right? That's a legacy people are going to remember more so, even more so than the training that we did or the program that they did with you. That's awesome. That's super awesome. But I still remember what Gary Vee said. If he passed away 2 weeks later, people wouldn't be all over his threads anymore. Do you know what I mean? They would be moving on with their life. And so I'm a huge stand for people going all in. And to me, all in looks different at different levels. There's all in with your effort in your business. There's all in with taking care of your friends and family. There's all in your marriage. There's all in your fitness. And then there's all in to the contribution to the world at a much, much higher level. The man who taught me to go all in is Michael Strassner. He's our guest today. I would love you to get on the chats right now and just love him up. Just say, welcome, 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 welcome. And today is about you really taking yourself on to go all in. Okay. So with that being said, what's our prize today? So our prize today is going to be a Peloton. So whoever lights up the chat with real stuff. Okay, so Cosette is excited about this. Okay, it should be excited. Pelotons are amazing in your house. Okay, so we're looking for people in VIP on YouTube and in the Facebook group. We're watching the threads right now, and we're going to pay attention to, as Michael is training, when you're having breakthroughs, when you're having, oh my gosh, that's me. I want you to actually say it in the chat. Like, I just had a breakthrough. I just had a breakthrough. I just had a breakthrough. When we see those words, I'm going to be able to see what's going on with you guys. And I want to see who's actually engaged and playing all out. If your video is not on VIP, you will not win. Okay. So if your video is not on, going all in is part of it, is being seen. Right. So we want to see you. All right, you guys, I'm going to bring Michael Strassner up. Can we bring Michael up? Michael.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Hello.
Good morning. Are we bringing him onto the stage with me? Okay, great. So good morning, Michael. It's super exciting to have you here. And why is he still not on the stage with me? There we go. Awesome. Awesome. So Michael, thank you for being here. And as always, whenever you come and train with us, I just want to say thank you for helping me go all in. And thanks for being, you guys, I don't think I've ever actually said this online before. Michael, when Ash and I were working through things in our marriage, literally I was supposed to have a meeting with Michael, and Ash was with me, and it ended up becoming a marriage counseling moment. And that moment shifted everything for my husband. So think about a moment think about something that's pulling on you right now. Maybe it's a blind spot. It was a blind spot for my husband, not knowing what he didn't know, right? Like the things that triggered him about me was something that Michael was able to in seconds go in and go, boom, that's what it is. And he's been unleashed from it ever since. Set an intention right now. Set an intention right now that as he speaks, that you're going to have that unlocking so that you can go all in. Michael, thank you for being you. And I'll hand the stage to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Shanda. Hi, everybody. Everybody hear me well? All right. So, wow. First of all, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Shanda, and what I want to acknowledge about Shanda is how enrolled she is in herself and what she offers and what she brings to the world. Do you sense that? So I want you to think about yourself for a moment and how you show up in life. So I'm going to assume that everybody is here today because you're up to something big in your life. Why would you be here? Why would you be participating in the 14-day challenge unless you had a vision that was so much bigger than anything you've done in the past? And one of the greatest privileges, I believe, of being a human being is that we have the power to alter the course of our own history. We have the power to alter the course or the trajectory of our lives. And when I think about Shanda, the term all in is like a no-brainer. Ever since I've known Shanda, when Shanda was a student in a training I did about 15 years ago, she was all in then. So when I first met her, I didn't have any history of her. I didn't know anything about her past. But what's so amazing is that when people get out of their own way, when people are able to release and let go of these limiting conversations and limiting attitudes and self-sabotaging thoughts, they can unleash the vision and the possibility that they have inside of them so that the entire world is impacted. And what I also love and admire about Shanda, and I want to acknowledge, is that she has dedicated her life not only to being successful for herself and her family, but she's really dedicated her life to giving and generosity and contribution. So I've known Shanda for many years. She's one of the most generous people I have ever met and I've ever worked with. And so I like to say that not only do I have a professional relationship with her, but I also have a personal relationship with her. And the people that I have a personal relationship with are people that are generous, people that are giving, people that are driven by serving and contribution to other people. Now, what I also want to say to everybody on this call is that there is nothing that Shanda has that you don't have. There is nothing that is so special about me or Shanda or anyone else that you can't tap into yourself. So you're here and you're in this process and you're in this experience to grow and to learn and to develop your skills and to develop your knowledge and your consciousness about how you can bridge the gap between the starting point and the culmination and the manifestation of that vision. And what's in that gap is the key. So I want to talk about being all in. I want to talk about being enrolled and committed. So these are two terms I want to put together: enrolled and committed. When you're enrolled in something, it could show up to you as you really like the idea, or you're conceptually aligned with the thought. So like take the concept of world peace. So I am enrolled in world peace, and I would assert or assume that everybody here is enrolled in world peace, the idea of world peace. And wouldn't it be wonderful if the world was peaceful and everybody was living in that peaceful space? So being enrolled in something doesn't necessarily mean you're committed. Committed is you are giving your word to whatever it is that you're enrolled in. So when I think of somebody that is all into something, you are locked into the vision and you are locked into the commitment required to make it happen. So I think often of a farmer when I think of someone who's enrolled and committed. You know, Shannon was talking about maintenance not being sexy. You know, a lot of people think of farmers as sexy, but I'm going to say, besides the fact that there's a website called farmers.com, which is a dating website, and I'm sure there's plenty of sexy farmers, I don't think that most people, when they think of the concept of being a farmer, as sexy. When you think of a farmer, what comes to mind? Farmers get up at what, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they put on their boots and they put on their overalls and, you know, a bandana and a hat. And it doesn't matter if it's, you know, 20 degrees outside, or if it's 100 degrees, or if it's raining, or if it's snowing. You know, farmers, when I think of a farmer, I don't think of Starbucks, you know, somebody that gets up at about 8 or 9, you know, goes to the gym and then heads to Starbucks to order a latte. And then maybe around 11 o'clock, they go, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to go tend to the farm now. So when I think of a farmer, I think of a visionary, somebody that is envisioning these crops flourishing. And maybe it's been in the family for generations, but it's a vision that requires trust in the universe. It's a vision that doesn't have any guarantees. You know, most farmers don't have guarantees. They don't have the government contracts and government subsidies. Most farmers have that vision that they are going to do this work, that they're going to till the soil, they're going to plant the seeds, they're going to nurture this environment, they're going to create this, they're going to put in all that blood, sweat, tears, the hard work, the dedication, the commitment, the rigor, all of those things. And then they're going to trust that the universe is going to cooperate and provide the sunlight and provide the water and the nutrients and all the environment in order to make that crop flourish. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes farmers fail. But you know what I know about farmers is farmers never quit, farmers never give up, and farmers don't have plan B. My experience of human beings is that we are plan B waiting to happen. Think about marriages. Even marriages have become, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, till death do we part, or something better comes along. I mean, if you think about the quote unquote word that we are giving when we say to another human being, I'm giving you my word to be faithful in this marriage, to be committed to this marriage. Even marriage has become a possibility, but not a commitment. It's not something that you're all in with, that we're all in about. And then we wonder why the marriage falls apart. We wonder why we not just get divorced, but we have children that are raised in environments that are not safe, not healthy, and then we continuously produce new members of society that are not prepared for leadership, not prepared for responsibility, not prepared for giving or service or contribution, not prepared to create abundance and to create extraordinary results. It's like we're continuously creating this dysfunction. And I believe if you rewind the tape and if you bring it all the way back to the beginning, it's the idea that you have a choice to be enrolled and committed. And what I say is this: if you're truly committed to being successful in life, if you're truly committed to having your life be a life of distinction, a life that creates a legacy, a life that inspires your family and friends, a life that you are proud of, not arrogantly proud of, but a life that you are genuinely in your heart proud of, then you get to lock yourself in to the vision and the commitment, enrolled and committed. There is no other possibility. There is no way out. Much like a roller coaster. How many of you have ever been to Disney World or Disneyland and been on the Space Mountain roller coaster? Anybody? Raise your hand. Okay. So I remember the first time I ever went on this roller coaster, and I was a kid, and we had heard about it, and Disney World just opened, and this was like a big deal for my family. We didn't have any money. We grew up in a very poverty scarce environment, and my mother and father, saved every nickel they could possibly save, and we drove from Boston all the way down to Disney World, and we stayed in a campground, the whole thing. I mean, we were not financially abundant, but I remember getting to go into Disney World, and I remember the dream. My brother and I had the dream, we're going to go on Space Mountain. And as we are going and we are starting the line, there's all these warning signs. Maybe you've seen this. Don't go on this ride if you're afraid of heights. And then you take a few steps. Don't go on this ride if you have any heart issues. And then you take a few more steps. Don't go on this ride if you might be pregnant. Now, by the third warning, I'm wondering if I could be pregnant. I was so afraid of possibly dying that I was losing sight of the vision of this ride. This incredible ride. My brother and I for days and days were like, are you excited about Space Mountain? Yes. Are you excited about, oh my God, I can't wait to go. It's just, the imagination was going crazy. The excitement was so high, but now we're in the line and we're getting close, and every step we take, fear is coming up. How many of you have fear in your life? Raise your hand. Okay, in the chat, I want you to write down, what is your biggest fear? The one that shows up the most for you. Failure. Not being perfect. Failing my family. Not succeeding. Being alone. Ridicule. Being judged. Fear of success. Financial failure. Imposter syndrome. Somebody might find out about you. Okay. Fear of being embarrassed. All right. Now, great. What I haven't seen is death, which is interesting. I would have expected a lot of people to write death in there. Now, this is great. So I'm afraid of dying with my brother standing in line for Space Mountain. I had not been afraid of death prior to that moment, but the thing about fear is, as fear goes up and as fear increases, we start to resist it. So I want you to write this down. What I resist persists. So think of this. Remember, before we got into the line, we were excited. Now we're in line and we got warning signs. Think of the warning signs as your best friend saying to you, hey, do you think this is a good time for you to start your business? I don't know if you've noticed, but the economy is kind of shaky right now. Think of the warning signs as your father saying, hey, Spencer, remember the last time you started a business? How did that turn out? You failed. Think of the warning signs as your wife or your husband saying, I don't think we can afford this. If you do this, you do understand that we're not going to be able to send so-and-so and so-and-so to camp this summer because we're going to need that money. So in other words, these warning signs show up in life. This is key. The closer you get to the breakthrough, fear increases the closer you get to the breakthrough. So when we think of the concept of being all in is jumping into the deep end of the pool, not walking in to the shallow end where you could go step by step. Nobody's afraid of drowning in the shallow end of the pool, unless you're a hypochondriac. But if that's the case, I love you. That's a whole other issue. But in general, people are not afraid of drowning in the deep end. Oh my God, it's 9 inches. I don't know if I can handle this. But when the pool is 12 feet or you can't see the bottom, be honest now, how many of you are afraid of the water when you can't see the bottom? So think about what I'm saying. The closer you get to having what you want, the more at stake you are, and fear comes up. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the vision, the bigger the fear. They go hand in hand. I remember one time I was doing a ropes course. Is anybody familiar with a ropes course? There are these obstacle courses and these exercises that you do out in the wilderness where you climb up these trees and you jump to things and you do all these different types of team building experiences. And I remember climbing this tree, and every step I took, my fear got bigger. So like when I was on step 1, no fear. Step 2, no fear. Step 3, little bit of fear. Step 5, shortness of breath. Step 10, brain saying, Michael, you're going to die. Step 15, I am hugging the tree like a koala bear. All right. I am certain I'm going to die, because the higher you go, the more fear you have. The higher you go, the more risk you're taking. The higher you go, the more out of control you are. And the irony is, I've got a harness on me. so I'm protected with a harness. It's not like I'm climbing a tree, and I'm 50 feet above ground and, I don't have anything to protect me. But see, our mind tells us that we're going to die. Our mind tells us we're not capable, we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we don't have what it takes. I'm not Shanda. Hey, Michael, love your acknowledgement of Shanda. I'm not Shanda. I could never be Shanda. So we make up all these stories and we actually enroll ourselves in the excuses and the fears, and they get bigger and bigger. Now, I had a coach. The coach was at the bottom of the tree. And you know what the coach was asking me? The coach was saying to me, hey, Michael, what is your vision? And then I said something sarcastic like, to not die. And he said, okay, that's great. You're not going to die. So what's your vision? So let's say you actually live. What's your vision? And I said, I want to be a leader. He said, why do you want to be a leader? Because I want to make a difference in people's lives. Because I want to create peace in the world, unity in the world, abundance in the world. He said, okay, take a step. And I noticed every time he asked me about my vision, and every time I was connecting with my vision, I was able to take another step and another step and another step. And then all of a sudden I'm 50 feet above the earth. And he says, okay, turn away from the tree. So I want everybody to visualize this. I am holding on to a tree. I have a harness on. I've made it 50 feet. My brain is saying, Michael, you made it 50 feet. You're still breathing. You haven't died yet. Don't turn away from the tree. Are you out of your mind? Don't do it. And the trainer said, hey, Michael, I'm still here. So tell me more about your vision. Are you really committed to this vision, or is it a nice idea? Yeah, I'm committed to this vision. Why? Why you? What do you have to offer the world that is unique and special? And now he's got me focused on my power and my confidence and my love and my passion. And so he goes, okay, turn away from the tree. So I don't know what came over me, but I turned away from the tree. Now I'm facing this gold ring. So now it's not really a gold ring. It's a life preserver painted with gold. This life preserver is about 10 feet away from the tree. And this trainer says, okay, on the count of 3, here's what you're going to do. You are going to let go of that tree and you are going to jump for that ring and you're going to catch that ring. And I'm thinking to myself, that's 10 feet away from the tree. There's not a chance I'm going to be able to touch that ring, let alone grab that ring. And he's coaching me about my vision, and he's coaching me about my commitment, and he's coaching me about my leadership. He's coaching me about my confidence, about my self-worth, about my power. And I said, okay, I'm ready. And I said, and he said, okay, on the count of 3. And he goes, 1, 2. I didn't wait for 3. I let go of that tree and I jumped. And let me tell you something, folks. I didn't just catch the ring. I almost overshot the ring. I have never jumped higher in my life. I've never jumped farther in my life, because when I jumped, I was committed to catching that ring. I was committed to doing whatever it takes, and I was all in. Faced my fear, confronted my fear, transformed my relationship with fear. When you go all in, there is nothing you can't do. When you go all in, you will reinvent yourself. You will redesign yourself. When you're all into something, you don't just have one pitch. If you follow any professional singer, actor, entrepreneur, athlete, everybody who is successful goes all in. All in doesn't mean you've got one track. All in means you are committed, you're focused with your intention, and nothing is going to stop you from achieving. But what it doesn't mean is you are right and you are rigid about your method. Many of you are in this Take Action Challenge here in these last 2 weeks, and you're focused on strategy, tactics, things that are important in your strategic planning. All of that matters, but none of it is more important than your intention to make it happen. Your confidence and your belief that you have what it takes, and you'll figure it out if you don't. The most successful people in life never say, I don't know, and throw up their hands. They never say, I can't, and give up. They never argue for their limitations. I'm saying this with love, no judgment at all. How often do you argue for your limitations? How often do you fight for what isn't possible? How often do you put your energy into your survival, into your fear, and take away from your vision and your commitment? Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. Your mind is either a tool of creativity, a tool of invention, a tool of redesign, or it is an information gathering device where you remove yourself from participation and you become an observer. If you go through life and you're observing, you're not participating anymore. We don't want to use our mind to collect evidence that we're right. We don't want to use our mind to sit around on the sidelines and judge people and have assessments of people and compare ourselves to people. We want to use our mind as an instrument of giving, an instrument of contribution, an instrument of creativity, a tool that has a never-ending toolbox. You are the Swiss Army knife of life. You have infinite power and infinite tools at your disposal. As a human being, you can absolutely impact every aspect of your life, professionally and personally, but you cannot do it unless you are enrolled and committed. Lock yourself in, close your back doors, because once you're on Space Mountain, you might still be afraid you're going to die, just like I was. You might be afraid you're going to die every step you take on the tree. But when you are locked in and the roller coaster bar comes down, everybody listen, the roller coaster no longer cares whether you are afraid or not. The roller coaster has one job, and that is to finish the ride. You have a complete choice whether or not you're going to be scared to death, whether you're going to resist it, whether you're going to hate every moment of it, or whether you are eventually going to let go and just celebrate your life, which is what happens for so many people. If you've ever been on a roller coaster, they begin scared and they're holding on. And at some point, they just throw their hands in the air and they say, woo! How often do you allow yourself to let go, to be all in, to commit yourself wholeheartedly to what you say matters to you? And what would your vision and life be like if you did? What separates extraordinary from ordinary is commitment and enrollment, and it starts with you. When you're committed and enrolled and you're out there and you're selling to people, many of you, I heard some of your sharing today, you've generated new clients, you made an offer and the offer was successful. So kudos to you and congratulations to you. What that tells you and us is that it's possible for anybody. When you are out there and you are committed and you are in your vision of what's possible, you're going to come up against various different considerations that other people have. What are some of the big considerations that you face, not just inside of you, but outside of you? Write those in the chat. What are the challenges that you face that are external challenges of clients, potential clients, business, potential business? Limited finances, cash flow, health, people's money situations, time, their fears. Tech stuff. I need a team. Your own opinion. Okay. Fear. Payroll, VA, attitude. Your own self-doubt. Okay. So let's say you are enrolled in you. Going back to Shanda and my example of Shanda being enrolled in Shanda. I've known Shanda when Shanda was not enrolled in Shanda. I've known Ash when Ash was not enrolled in Ash. Why was Shanda and Ash having conflict in their marriage? Because if one person isn't enrolled, and committed, you're going to have conflict in the marriage. When you are enrolled and committed, locked into your vision, locked into your intention, you're out there in the world and you are selling and you are offering. What it's going to require from you is flexibility in your approach. You can't have only one pitch. So Shanda may have talked to you about this, but I want to say this to you. You've got to work on your pitch. You've got to have a pitch when you're offering something. And you can't only have one pitch. Why? Because a pitch works for a certain percent of people. Imagine you cultivate multiple pitches to be able to land your communication with everyone you present to. Would that be powerful? Would that be valuable? Would that make an impact? Some of you are aware of the fact that we all have different personality styles. Some people are more relationship oriented. Some people are more technologically oriented. Some people are more result oriented. Some people are more feeling oriented. So you can't only have one pitch. If you only have one pitch, then you're essentially going to be effective with a very small segment of the entire population. If you want your vision to flourish, if you are committed to creating abundance, then you get to have an abundance of pitches. So how do you develop that? Well, trial and error, testing things out, recording yourself on camera. Like, you should see how the world sees you when you're giving your pitch. So you can make a pitch, record it. You could send it to people for feedback. But see, when you're committed to something, you'll figure it out. You'll do whatever it takes. But you will never be rigid in your approach, because you understand that rigidity and commitment are not the same thing. Rigidity is a train track, and a train track limits you from possibility. So you want to have a balance between commitment and rigor versus commitment and rigidity. The rigor in your commitment will have you seek coaching, will have you seek out people that are effective in certain things that can serve you and support you in your effectiveness. So I've been playing sports my whole life, ever since I was a child. And I've always learned and benefited from coaching. So we all have blind spots. Are you aware of your own blind spots? Or are you blind to your blind spots? If you're committed and enrolled to the vision, then you're always willing to accept feedback, and not just accept it, but seek it out. Some of you might not be hungry for feedback in your life because maybe you're defensive, or maybe you're self-righteous, or maybe you've got a bit of an arrogant edge to you, or maybe you've got this thing where you need to prove it to people. Is you being arrogant about having to prove yourself to people more important to you than being successful and effective? For me, it's not. I mean, I'm a very, as I said, good athlete. I've played sports my whole life. I could pick up a ball right now at 56 years old, and I could throw a football over 50 yards. I mean, there's a lot of things I can do. I'm sure I can make a basket or two. I'm an excellent golfer. And part of what makes me an excellent golfer is that I always seek coaching. I mean, I literally seek coaching all the time because I'm not afraid to be vulnerable, and I understand the value of people seeing things that I can't see in myself. In my relationship with my wife, I ask for feedback, and I listen, and I absorb it. In my relationship with my children, I ask for feedback, and I listen, and I absorb it. I'm committed and enrolled and committed in all aspects of my life. And part of that is my willingness to let go of my attachment and my belief that I have it all figured out, that I know, that my way is the way. How many of you struggle with being coachable in your life? Write that in the chat. And what's the challenge for you there? Who struggles with being coachable and what's the challenge there? And what would be the value of being coachable for those of you that are not? And those of you that are coachable, what do you see is your biggest blind spot? So it's two questions. One, for the people that have blind spots, what do you see? What are you aware of is your biggest blind spot? And for those of you that haven't been coachable, what do you see the value of you being coachable could cause or create with your vision and your success? Focus, organization, improvement. My blind spot is I don't trust people. Learning from someone who's done it. Refinement. Yeah, you know, one of the things that I'm committed to in my own life is constantly learning as a way of life. So I love to learn. I love to let go of what I know. I love to be in free fall. I love to be vulnerable and open. And I seek out other people's points of views and learn from them and listen to them. And I do it professionally and I do it personally. There is no weakness in being coachable. For those of you that are arrogant or defensive or self-righteous, you've got a big ego, the most successful people in life, look at them in business or personal or professional, athletes, singers, you name it. They all have coaches. They all have guidance. They all have people that are on their team that are dedicated to their vision, dedicated to their success and their accomplishment. So if you don't trust the coaching you've been receiving, then you get to take a look at the relationships that you are attracting in your life. And if you get to create and surround yourself with like-minded leaders, with people that are visionary and successful and accomplished in their lives, then you get to see enough value in who you are. You get to be enrolled and committed 100% in who you are so that you can attract those people to be in partnership and relationship with you. Okay, so I'm going to pause. Shanda, you're back with us. Are you ready? And
Bring me on with Michael. So first of all, Michael, so one of the things before I let you go that I just think is really powerful is I think this comes up for a lot of people. Like when you're coaching with someone, who's got a coach right now? Who's got a coach right now? Go in the chat comment section, say me, right? So that's powerful. Notice how much you allow that coach to coach you. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a big thing that I see a lot where people will have the initial like, okay, I want to get a coach, and they hire a coach. And then you think, sometimes people think it's, you're not allowing the coach to see you. But really, I think, Michael, when you were just talking about the relationship, I think it's really important to look, when you're not using your coach or you're not taking the coaching, look at some of the other patterns in your life where maybe you've been good at starting a relationship, but really haven't created the depth in a mentorship relationship. I mean, it takes courage and it takes willingness to allow someone like Michael or me or any of your other coaches to step in. And also takes cleaning your filters. At least when I started working with Michael, I had to clean my filters. The way that I perceived things, right? Like feedback might have been critical, right? And it's well, you critically can't grow without having it. There is no critical growth happening unless you're willing to allow a mentor to come in. And there's a bit of a difference between a mentor and a coach. A mentor will just set the vision. A coach will help you actually coach you to get there, right? And so there is a difference. Like I hold a mentorship position a lot, and then we have coaches internally inside the company so we can have a bigger impact in the world. But I think one of the big challenges, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, one of the big challenges is that sometimes you'll make the effort to go all in, but then you stop going all in, right? Because you're not allowing people to coach you because maybe you don't like the coaching. Michael's coached me a few times that I haven't necessarily liked the coaching. Just a few times in my life that I haven't liked the coaching. In fact, I've thought he's wrong. He doesn't understand. He needs to listen to more of my point of view. Anybody else feel me, or am I the only one? Come on, right? Like I need to prove my point. I need to like land this with him. He doesn't understand all the details. And it's like, no, you're not understanding. Your coach is there to coach you. Right, Michael? How many times has this happened to you?
It's every day of my life. And look, here's the thing. That means that there's something there. Anytime you're defensive, this is for everybody. Anytime you're defensive, and this is not about Shanda, anytime, no matter what it is, are you ready? Big pill to swallow. They're right. Nobody is defensive about things that aren't true. They're only defensive about things that are. If it wasn't an issue, if it isn't a button, if you're not defending it, if you're not reacting to it, then clearly it's not about you. But if you are, then it 100% is your issue. Nobody reacts to things that aren't true. We don't get defensive. But when we are, the button has been pushed. And if a coach is a great coach, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, I hear you. I hear you. And Shannon, I'm going to say it again. My experience of you is boom. And they're going to deliver that feedback, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to keep going until there's no other possibility but for you to break through. Why? Because a coach wants you to win. A coach is committed to your winning. And you get to trust that.
It's a huge thing, because I know that some of you guys might be working with coaches right now, assuming they have the results you want, right? And are working with coaches right now that are trying to help you break through. And one of the things that I'm really committed to with our company at Heartcore Business and Heartcore Leadership is to really take a stand. Like, I'm not attached to who you're coaching with. If you're coaching with somebody, awesome, way to go, right? But I am a huge stand for people to break through to the next level that they want. So, Michael, thank you for all your stand with our family and with our community, and thousands upon thousands of people have marriages now. You have stopped so many suicides and people who were going down the route of divorce. I can't tell you how many people I have met. They're like, absolutely not. My husband, my wife is impossible. You guys, people do this inside of their careers too. My boss is impossible, and people do this and they don't realize that they're actually backing down the fact that they are more powerful than they think to lead this relationship to a successful result. Once I met Michael, I made a decision that I no longer quit. I don't quit, right? Like if I want to quit, let's see if I want to quit after I've hit success. And that's a rule in my life. It's a distinction in my life that sets me apart from a lot of other people, because even if I don't feel like getting the coaching, or even if I don't feel like still engaging, or even if I don't feel like teaching you this anymore, or even if I don't feel like being in relationship anymore, whatever that is, I don't take action on my feelings. I take action on my commitment. What did I say I would create? And I create that result. And that's why it comes back to I trust myself. And when you can trust yourself, you can definitely go all in. But I said this to our nanny yesterday. I said, you know what, honey? You're building yourself, right? You're building yourself. Michael, thank you for everything you do.
You're welcome.
So much love.
I love you.
I love you too.
High
So
five, everybody. You're amazing. Keep it
high
up.
fives, high fives. And we're also going to be picking the Peloton in a second. So we'll send an email with that, you guys. So I just want to share with you guys, as you're we've got a couple more days to the revenue challenge. And as we go through the revenue challenge, we're going to work on your messaging. We're going to work on, that's what's starting to come next, right? Who has a messaging challenge? You're like, my messaging is off. Like, I know that's the challenge. Well, guess what? Your messaging comes, I actually already taught you the empathy model. But what's happening is there something going on in actually receiving the information, which is leadership, which is why last week we made an offer for leadership. That offer's closed, right? But saying that, notice how often the opportunity is in your space to take action, but we still don't. Why? Because we need help. We need help. We need somebody to stand there and say, Tundi, you got a blind spot here, right? Trina, you got a blind spot there. Cosette, there's a blind spot there. Maggie, I want to bring you up for just 2 seconds. Maggie, where are you? Can we bring Maggie up for 2 seconds? I don't know where she's at. And then we'll come to an end. Maggie, where are you? There you are. I see her. Okay, if we can bring Maggie up for 2 seconds.
Hey.
Maggie, so we met you. Maggie actually is a new client of ours, right? So are you in our PACE program now?
Yes.
Okay, you've done List Power, you're working, you've got the club, you've got all these things. The club is where we teach people how to sell, right? And so in just the last few months, what have you been able to create?
I've been able to be super laser and create a community of 400 people in my Facebook plus growing, 2,900 in my email list. And that's just in the last 2 to 3 months. And I'm right now only on day 19 of my actual 21 day. So it is.
She says 21 days. She's doing a list build that's 21 days, which is something that we teach in our PACE program. But that's not what I want you to hear right now. Maggie, where were you before we met?
I was at 0 interactions with new people and really being able to cultivate relationships with people to find out what their needs are. And through this experience, it's allowed me to all of a sudden expand my reach to people that I can now talk to and are my ideal client, like people who really want what I have as a homeschool mom. And I'm a homeschool mom of 11 kids. And so I just want to be able to help people. And so I'm still raising and, teaching 5 of them. And it's just been incredible to be able to open my mouth and also network with leaders in this place. My favorite book writers, my favorite curriculum companies have kind of been the people that are now my friends, and they are the ones who helped me.
Let me jump in here for a second. I still have this on my calculator from VIP. So what was your list build size?
It was 2,933 so far.
2,933. So it would cost her, if she was going to run Facebook ads, and she would spend $3,000, just do the math with me. Write this down, $3,000 for her Facebook team. She'd give either 5 or 10% of her ad spend to her Facebook team, whatever she spent, and we'll take $12 a lead. She would have spent $41,000, $41,500 to be able to create her what is it, 2,900?
2,900.
2,900 person email list right now of buyers. That's real numbers. So Maggie, I wanted to jump you on and share that really quickly. I'm sending you love, girl.
Thank you.
Bye. Crush it. Myung, come here. Come here. I love this. Did you guys hear Myung on, come over here. Did you hear Myung on pocket coaching last night? I grabbed him and did a pocket coaching. Did anybody hear that last night? Okay, Myung, you have been watching us for 2 years. 2 years. Okay. So he's doing the List Power program. He's in PACE now, but go ahead, share what's happened.
Okay. So for 2 years, I've been shooting for you, Shanda, and it's been going in one ear and out the other. And I didn't do anything about it, but I see people being
blind
successful.
spot.
And then finally, a couple of months ago, I jumped in. I enrolled to PACE, and so much has happened within this 2 months. I've done live seminars. I've done pre-recorded seminars. I've made friends with some of the most famous photographers that I've looked up to. I'm writing books. I've got training videos. And I thought I was going to be a videographer for the rest of my life, but now I got a whole new path and I got this big vision. So I just want to say thank you. And yeah, I'm excited.
I love it. So, and you just picked up another client yesterday.
Yes. I got my first client yesterday. He's from Texas, and I have a client. That's crazy. I never even thought about that, but yeah, it's kind of exciting.
And you've written a book?
Yes. I'm almost done with the book, How to Be a Photographer in 10 days. I'm doing so many crazy cool things, and I love how this path will just open up branches of new adventures.
So good. Do you guys want to give them some love? Okay, these guys are just here to inspire you for a second, okay, before we end. All right, thank you, babe. So it's powerful because Myung literally has been watching us for a couple years now. And he also does our List Power Intensive. He's in there, like he's the camera guy who is videoing us while we're doing it virtually right now. And he's in the List Power Intensive just to help build people's belief. We'll bring a bunch of our clients on and they'll share the different ways that they're using their list to monetize and do something called cash injections, right? And when that happens, Myung's here listening to them time after time after time. You know what I mean? It's like, what's it going to take for you to go all in? What's it going to take for you to commit? Like, I know you're enrolled and you're excited. I mean, people who are enrolled are excited. They're like, I get it. I would do it if, right? I'm sure that that dash was there for a while. And then he got committed and he jumped in. And look at how long have you been in our program?
Just a little over 2 months.
A little over 2 months. He's done a book. He's got a couple video seminars done. His wife even got involved and helped with actually doing some virtual conferences. He's now got a new client in Texas in the area that he wants to be in, right? He's got a client in the area that he wants, because obviously he has lots of clients like me that he can come do video work for, but his vision was to go to that next level. And so I just want to ask you, how long have you been working on enrollment? How long have you been working on trying to teach people how to get committed? Right? Like, how many of you guys know that you can help people, but you haven't been able to figure out how to get yourself to completely commit? And so your authority is broken down and having other people commit, right? So that's a huge deal. So one of the things that we did when COVID hit is that when COVID hit, I looked at my leadership team and I was like, I needed somebody else in my leadership team to actually teach people how to commit, right? And that person was Jim Miller. And so Jim Miller used to be with our company. He went off and started doing some other things. When COVID hit, we lost $2 million a month in gross revenue. And I was like, okay, we've got a great team of amazing human beings. We're missing a leader. We're a certain leader that has Jim's skills. And it was a sales trainer that understands how to do scripts, that understands how to, how human behavior works, how to actually walk people into a commitment so that they can create the results that they wanted. So I called Jim up and we started talking. He came back in. It took us about, 3 to 4 days to cut that deal between him and I. He came back into our company, committed to creating a legacy inside of here. And we turned our team around in 5 days. Count that. 5 days. We turned our team around in 5 days. In 5 days, we started producing the results that we were accustomed to and then some. And I got this idea. What do you think happened when that happened? What do you think happened? You guys go in the chat. What do you think happened? I was like, I need to teach this. I need to teach people how to do this, because if I was struggling, I know other people are struggling. And then I ran into a roadblock. And the roadblock literally was, Kalini, you're a young lady, right? Am I going to tell you to go hire Jim? Let me create the job description for you and show you how to find Jim, and then find the money to pay Jim to actually train you and train a couple of salespeople to grow your business, right? So that you can focus on one thing. You might say, that's a great idea, Shanda. What do you think is going to happen? I'm not there yet, because it's actually just a leadership block. Anybody can actually jump. Once you figure out your leads, you can start building sales team and you can hire a sales manager, but there's a leadership gap there that needs to be closed. And I can't convince you. I can't, there's nothing I can do. Like, you have to develop that leadership. Do you hear what I'm saying? And so I was like, what's the next best thing? And the next best thing is we opened something called The Club. The Club is $3,600 a year. It's $300 a month. And it's a steal. It's a deal, right? We do it like literally Jim and Ash train 6 times a month. Why? Because you need momentum in sales. You can't sales is not something that you can just watch a module and actually crush it. You have to role play. You have to develop scripts. There's things that you have to do to create it so that it's consistent. Who would love consistent cash flow? And this is a great example for you guys. If you're creating products and services, don't create them out of your mind. Don't do that. Don't create them out of your mind. Create them. Look at what is working and what is your client's need. And that's where you develop them. After your initial product, literally the whole growth of your company should never come out of your mind. It should come out of the demand that people need you. Okay, so that's how we created the club. So we created the club. We were like, what's going to have people actually close the gap? So you don't need a salesperson to go in the club, but you do need to be committed to actually getting committed yourself, because money's going to come in and clients and customers are going to come in without a doubt. I mean, if I wish I could line up all the testimonials of the people that are actually in the club, right? It's off the charts. Like every week, every day, people are actually earning income. I'm not saying you're going to do that, because I don't know if you're going to be enrolled or commit. You hear what I'm saying? But here's what we've done. We've taken an opportunity where we took the club, and I've taken that $3,600 and I've slashed it. So let me show you something. Here's the club. For 1 year, you can come train in the club for $700. I'll train you for $700 for an entire year. Jim and Ash will train you 6 times a month. You go find me another program that's going to train you 6 times a month. 6 times a month, they will train you how to develop scripts, how to actually communicate in a way that it's consistent to actually enroll people into committing, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of people who want you, right? And if you do my list building program, which actually, you know what I'll do? I'll throw my list building program in here. If you actually grabbed this offer last week that had my list power, just consider this a nice, beautiful bonus, right? For anybody who wants to jump into the club. Okay, so here's the deal. I'll train, Jim and Ash will train you. So the same training we're doing to our sales team, we will actually train you for $700 flat for the entire year. Do you think you can come up with do you think that you can earn $700 or make at least $700? Yes. So VIP's already got it. They're on it. Okay, so here's the deal. We'll give you a year in the club, plus I'm going to add in Style Flex selling. What is this? Style Flex selling is with Michael, who just trained, and Ash. They do a half-day workshop where they're teaching you the different personality quadrants, right? So if you're more feeling based, how many of my people are more feeling based? Or you're more results orientated, right? Who am I results? Put an R in the chat. Who am I more results orientated people, right? So are you more analytical? Put an A. You're more analytical, right? Put an A. Maybe you're more supportive, like you really do put a lot of people first in front of you. You got to figure out how to get a little bit stronger, you might be saying. If you're a supporter, put an S. Okay, so you sell differently based on your own quadrant. So if you're, first of all, if you're following sales training and trying to fit yourself into a square, a box, because somebody taught you how to sell and you're a quadrant that's not them, because they probably developed everything off that, you've got a challenge, right? It feels foreign to you. So there's a way that you sell, that you sell and you have people commit based on even knowing who you are and how to actually bring your strengths to the table to enroll. But then you have to figure out how to also enroll those different quadrants. I have lots of analyzers, I have lots of supporters, I have lots of controllers, and I have lots of promoters that work with me, a ton of them. And so when I develop Michael called it a pitch, right? When I develop my offering for you, I'm thinking about all those different quadrants when I'm actually making the offer. So saying that, I'm going to give you Style Flex selling. That's going to come up in May. We're going to give that to you. It's a half-day course live with Michael and Ash, and then they're going to be role playing with you. We're going to give you 1 year in the club where you're going to get trained just like my sales team. I'm going to throw in the list power training because of the fact that everybody needs you need leads. You need leads. I mean, even if you've done list power before, you need to be in that workshop and continuing to train from me, right? Like everybody has hearing blind spots, right? And we know this because when we train, I can give instructions 8 times and there'll be people who don't hear all the instructions. Anybody follow me here? I have a great message in my office that says the misleading thing about communication is you actually think it was heard, right? And so we need to get you in your power so that consistently, call this the money offer, because consistently you have your leads, you have your quadrant selling, which is very special to Heartcore. Nobody else does this. And then you have the club, all for $700 for the entire year. Literally, we'll gift it to you we'll gift you the entire year for $700. I just said 100,000 because if you can't make 100,000 out of this, that's crazy. You know what I mean? So go after it. So where you go, can you guys put up the links real quick? Where you go is betrainedbyus.com. Betrainedbyus.com. Okay? Betrainedbyus.com. So if you go to betrainedbyus.com, you can have all of that. If you make your decision in the next 20 minutes, I'll give you guys the list power training. And something that I did last week that I'm feeling called again to do. If you already have this, then you're good. This is worth way more than $700. Just the club alone is $3,600, right? For the year. It's $300 a month, legitimately. Some people watching right now, I'm sure, are paying $300 a month to be in the club. Okay, so $700 just for this for an entire year is, I think, probably the best investment on the planet. Style Flex Selling makes you unstoppable and puts you in your power. List Power, it gives you the opportunity to be trained by me. If you want to bring a friend to List Power, you can do that. We're not set up to do that because, again, last time I made this offer, I felt the spirit do that again. I'm doing it again, which means that you can bring a friend, a business partner, a business partner, a spouse. I don't care if they're an entrepreneur or not. That doesn't make a difference to me. If they are an entrepreneur, awesome. Maybe your best friend, Angela, you want to bring with you. Or maybe you have a spouse, somebody that doesn't believe in you anymore because you've broken some authority or broken your word. Whatever serves you best, right? So in the next 20 minutes, if you make a decision, you can bring a friend to the List Power training, my guest, and my gift to you. So you guys go to betrainedbyus.com. Now, here's the deal. We're going to look for the Peloton winner. So whoever was having breakthroughs on the threads, we're going to go on YouTube now. We're going to go we've already analyzed the Zoom here on VIP, and then we're going to go in the Coach Yourself to Success Facebook group, and we're going to see who's going to win the Peloton, because I love giving things away. And then tomorrow, is it tomorrow we have messaging? Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be talking about your messaging. So we're going to be hooking you into your messaging, going deep on copy and how to language your actual messaging and the way that you communicate with people so that you can land your communication. If you've jumped in to be trained by us, welcome. If you happen to take our offer last week, welcome. And here's what I want to share with you. It's time for us all to go all in. I am currently facing another moment of fear in my own life. And my husband's been texting me while Michael was training, because we have this next level opportunity for us to buy a building, okay? To buy a building. And so it's a 10,000 square foot building. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm all of that. Like, none of me is like, woo, I'm a baller. I'm like, no, I feel like I'm like 2 years old again. And I'm like, do I really want to do this? You know what I'm saying? But I'm committed. So I've walked the property now twice. We are now moving into a position where we're looking at making an offer today. And I'm doing exactly the same thing you're doing. And so I'm going to trust myself. Are you going to trust yourself? All right, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Lots of love. I hope this was a powerful training today. Bye.